molto benvenuto Papa Francesco. Makofi tena. Anawasalimia wale wazee wetu. Makofi kwa Papa Francesco. Benvenuto Papa Francesco qui la nostra chiesa Giuseppe Kangemi. Makofi tena, makofi. Yeah, makofi. Choir. Those are requests, the sign at the altar. We have the present Father, bring over. The Father in charge has requested for Francisco to sign the special book so that you remain a special honor. Ni siku ya kipekee mumo katika parokia hii ya St. Joseph the Worker, Kangemi. Have you signed that book? As he signs, makofi kwa Papa, complimenti, grazie. Grazie Papa Francesco. We love you, we love you. Kanisa la kwanza Afrika kupata signature ya Pope Francesco. Mungu Mwenyezi akubariki Francesco. Asante sana. A sign of blessing to the Islam Christians people of Kenya. God loves you through our Pope Francis. Thank you for accepting to append your signature on that book. Very, very encouraging. Choir. Good. Now we shall wait. A clap for the signing. Thank you very much. Now we shall wait for the protocol to follow.
Your Holiness Pope Francis, Cardinals, Bishops, and all clergy present, all government officials and the dignitaries present, all our visitors, and the faithful of St. Joseph the Worker Church in Kangemi, tumsifu Yesu Kristu. Mungu ni mwema na kila wakati. It is indeed true that God is good all the time. I am very humbled to thank you, Your Holiness Pope Francis, to have chosen to visit St. Joseph the Worker Church in Kangemi. Your visit brings us much joy and blessings. Your visit teaches me and the rest of the faithful that more than ever we need to be humble. Words may fail me and the faithful seated right here to describe how much joy and happiness fills our hearts today. We are blessed to receive and welcome His Holiness Pope Francis in our church. Tumebarikiwa kumpokea, kumkaribisha na kuungana naye Baba Mtakatifu Francis katika kanisa letu leo. Ni siku ya pekee ambayo kweli hatutawahi kamwe kuisahau. I take this opportunity to thank you all our visitors and the people of goodwill for joining us today, for praying with us, for visiting us, and for helping St. Joseph the Worker Church to give a warm welcome to His Holiness Pope Francis. I wish to say that you are all welcome to visit us again. Asante sana. Thank you very much.
Thank you once more for Your Holiness, for your humility to come to our place. Thank you, Father in charge. At this juncture, may I call upon the introductory remarks by Right Reverend Archbishop Martin Kebuba, please.
Your Holiness Pope Francis, our cardinals, bishops, clergy present here, and government officials, dignitaries, Caritas partners, wanavijiji wa kutoka Sodom, Kibagare, slums, Kawangware, Soweto, Korokocho, Mukuru, Madare, Kibera, na wote mliofika, tumsifu Yesu Kristu. Mungu ni mwema na kila wakati. Vigelegele kwa Papa. Vigelegele kwa Papa. Vigelegele kwa Papa. Your Holiness, today is a beautiful and a happy day in this church of our Kangemi. On behalf of the Catholic bishops of Kenya and on behalf of the Justice and Peace and Caritas Commissions, and indeed on behalf of all these people, the slums, many as they are represented here, I take this chance to welcome you to the home of the Jesuits, Kangemi Parish. Your Holiness Pope Francis, St. Joseph the Worker Church, Kangemi, sits at the right middle informal settlement of Kangemi, which serves the poor and the vulnerable, the needy population of Kangemi's slums, which are the Sodom, Kibagare slums, and the needy adjacent slums of Kawangware, Soweto, Korokocho, Mukuru, Madare, Kibera slum, which is the largest slum in East Africa. These people from our slums and many of our slums countrywide are people of God. Most Holy Father, they know the experience of what it means to lack the basic needs, and yet their hearts are big enough to give. They are part of our life church. They above all know how to live by faith and hope. And this morning, Your Holiness, we are honored to welcome you as a fraternity of Caritas partners, friends who work with the church, and even government officials who are here, members of parliament and friends of the church, to this home of the Jesuits. And we want to once again to tell you, welcome to your own home, the home of the Jesuits. Your Holiness, we thank you for the many times you have championed for the plight of the poor and the cause of the poor. Your many homilies, your writings, indeed, in most of all, the greatest writing on the written book on earth is your lifestyle. It's evident you love and serve the poor. You demonstrate love, you share it with everyone. We thank you for giving us this unique opportunity to see you close to us, to touch you, to see you smile as you always do to all, and we share that smile with you. Your presence within us and among us acts as a reminder of Christ among us, and all of us, we share your care for and as you invite us to serve one another despite all odds. Your Holiness, through the commissions of Caritas and Justice and Peace, which we are proud to serve and be part of, the Church continues to work with all partners, including government, to reach out to such areas that remain greatest need in our society. More can be done and should be done in all our slums. We do not need to wait for the Holy Father to come to be done. In our short documentary this morning, we are going to share with you some of Your Holiness challenges of our people go through and their hope and aspiration as the people of slums, including the presence of the church among us and our intervention in some of these places. They and the church alleviate the suffering of millions. We all say, better light one candle than to light darkness. Welcome, Your Holiness.
I have another clap for Bishop Kivuva for the nice remarks. Thank you. I'm sure as we are here, this could be another new famous slum, as I know, at various areas where our Holy Father Francis worked as a priest called Fatherless, and I can feel that he's feeling the way exactly he worked there. A clap for the good work he started at Fatherless slums in Argentina. At this juncture, we shall have a video clip that's supposed to take only 2.5 minutes. The one who is responsible, please.
Home to about 43 million people, according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. In Nairobi, 60% of the population live in informal settlements, according to the UN Habitat. And such informal settlements are found in almost every urban center in the country. Limited access to clean and safe water, poor sanitation, poor drainage systems, and poor housing are some of the many challenges facing the people living in the informal settlements.
Uchafu naye ni mingi na watu hujeka kila wakati, hasa watoto.
Kisha hapa umbu nini, kwa sababu nyumba waliweka tu udongo na wakawacha. Sasa umbu sika hapo ndani, vitu chini zinauma.
Kupata kazi inakuwa ni ngumu sana.
From the time of colonial days, coming into town was controlled, so that you won't just walk into town. You might only to show evidence that you've gotten a job within this town. The independent Kenyan government liberated the people, but with the surging population, efforts were not made enough to provide accommodation for those that came into the town. So the cheapest option that came in were then the informal settlement.
The Catholic Church in Kenya and its partners play a critical role in uplifting the lives of vulnerable population living in these informal settlements.
In Korogocho, we have seen several social problems that we find. We have tried to answer to some. One of them is the Napenda Kuishi Trust project, which works with street children. Through sports, building peace, bridges between communities, because one of the problems is also tribalism.
Leaders first of all wanakuwa kuja pamoja, wajaribu kuonyesha jamii umuhimu wa kuwa pamoja, kwa sababu already leaders zao wenyewe ndio wanatusplit.
Yani tu tukae tu, unajua kila mtu ana dini yake, kuna Muislamu, kuna Mkristo, kuna Muhindi nini. Manake ukabila na dini ndio inachangia mambo yote. Vitu ambao wangetengenezea sisi kwa kijiji, maji, soko, hospitali ikuwe karibu.
Your Holiness, all protocol observed, you have seen it all about our slums in short. We love your encyclical entitled Laudato Si on the care of our common home. All our slums, also our homes, we need to take care of. At this juncture, we're going to have a Bible procession by the PMC, and choir will sing for us, and therefore we stand. Kindly stand, please.
Somo katika Injili ilivyoandikwa na Mathayo. Hapo atakapokuja Mwana wa Adamu katika utukufu wake na malaika watakatifu wote pamoja naye, ndipo atakapoketi katika kiti cha utukufu wake, na mataifa yote watakusanyika mbele zake, naye atawabagua kama vile mchungaji abaguavyo kondoo na mbuzi. Atawaweka kondoo mkono wake wa kuume na mbuzi mkono wake wa kushoto. Kisha mfalme atawaambia wale walioko mkono wake wa kuume, njooni mliobarikiwa na Baba yangu, urithini ufalme mliowekewa tayari tangu kuumbwa ulimwengu. Kwa maana nalikuwa na njaa, mkanipa chakula, nalikuwa na kiu, mkaninywesha, nalikuwa mgeni, mkanikaribisha, nalikuwa uchi, mkanivika, nalikuwa mgonjwa, mkaja kunitazama, nalikuwa kifungoni, mkanijia. Ndipo wenye haki watakapomjibu wakisema, Bwana, ni lini tulipokuona una njaa tukakulisha, au una kiu tukakunywesha? Tena ni lini tulipokuona mgeni tukakukaribisha, au uchi tukakuvika? Ni lini tena tulipokuona mgonjwa au kifungoni tukakujia? Na mfalme atajibu akiwaambia, amin nawaambia, kadri mlivyomtendea mmojawapo wa hao ndugu zangu walio wadogo, mlinitendea mimi. Kisha atawaambia na wale walioko mkono wake wa kushoto, ondokeni kwangu mliolaaniwa, muende katika moto wa milele aliowekewa tayari Ibilisi na malaika zake. Kwa maana nalikuwa na njaa, msinipe chakula, nalikuwa na kiu, msininyweshe, nalikuwa mgeni, msinikaribishe, nalikuwa uchi, msinivike, nalikuwa mgonjwa na kifungoni, msije kunitazama. Ndipo hao pia watajibu wakisema, Bwana, ni lini tulipokuona wewe una njaa au una kiu au mgeni au uchi au mgonjwa au kifungoni tusikuhudumie? Naye atajibu akisema, amin nawaambia, kadiri msivyomtendea mmojawapo wa hao walio wadogo, hamkunitendea mimi. Na hao watakwenda zao kuingia katika adhabu ya milele, bali wenye haki watakwenda katika uzima wa milele. Na hilo ndilo neno la Mungu.
Favores, pasiedi. Tuketi sisi sote, kama una mahali pa kukaa. Tukae kwa nusu dakika, a few seconds. At this juncture now I call upon Pamela Akwenda, representative from the slums Kibera, to come forward please and give a presentation.
Kangemi community, my fellow Kenyans, good morning. In the beginning, God created the world and saw that it was beautiful. He created a man in his own image and likeness and asked him to take care of the earth. However, because of human weakness, a man failed to obey this calling and failed. This affects God through love for a man, and we have now classified ourselves as the rich, the middle class, and the poor. Your Holiness, allow me to share with you my experience living in slums in Kenya. I'm proud of living in informal settlement, which I call home. We hope and dream the slum upgrading will not be closed and combine security of tenure with shelter and service provision and be beneficial to us all. According to UN Habitat, the residents of Nairobi informal settlement constitute 55% of the city population, yet we are proud of 5% of the total land area. This can be contributed failure by the government to provide for the lower cost housing for the poor, leading the absentee landlord taking advantage of the poor in the settlement by building temporary structures for continuing for the human settlement and charging higher rates for them. As a result, thousands of residents have encroached and occupied the parcel of the land, including public land, which they have put up as semi-permanent structures. People living in informal settlement live together as a family, in unity and solidarity. This is the evidence during different celebrations as birth of the child, wedding, marriage, and during the death. We see the community practicing their fundamental cultures with different ethnic groups, sharing and practice as one unity. A resident of informal settlement survives on less than $1 a day, but is able to access a fresh agricultural from the market all the way from rural areas. Actually, one can get their stomach full of a cup of tea and a doner at only 20 shillings, US dollar 0.19. Majority of the residents in former settlement are casual laborers at the company in industrial areas, which ingest the slums into the slums. All these companies generate higher revenue and the government benefit through the taxes. The laborers are actually paid less. If you can take a walk in informal settlement, the residents of the people will shock you. The people are ingenuity, which can be seen in the huge number of small-scale business that they run. You are holy. We cannot ignore the effort of the government in providing the security, but a lot still needed to be done in formal settlement, with the security still a big challenge. Police are insufficient. We are happy with the government free primary education policy, but this is still a challenge since we do not have adequate public schools to accommodate all the slum children. Here, private schools charge very high fees, which most of us cannot afford. Your Holiness, Papa, it is my humble request to you to urge our government to improve service provision in informal settlement and address the security of tenants economically, health, education, and security. In conclusion, I take this opportunity to thank the government of Kenya and Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops for giving me this opportunity to share with you experience in living in informal settlement. It is pleasure and honor not only for me but also the residents of informal settlement. I declare an honor to them. God bless you and our country, Kenya. Thank you.
Your Holiness Pope Francis and all present, today I and all who work with slum dwellers welcome you. We are blessed to meet you, and you in turn are blessed to meet the wonderful people of Nairobi slums. These people face many challenges: evictions, fires and floods. Evictions, fires and floods displace the people and bring them into extreme poverty and destitution and dependence on others. People suffer from insecurity. They live in temporary houses so they can be robbed. So they live with the fear of being robbed. In slums, we have a lot of alcohol and drug abuse. The youth are in a special danger. From bad alcohol, many people die each year, and some are left handicapped. There's a lot of danger to children and youth. We have sexual, physical, emotional abuse, and we have children who are sold from the slums. The children of single parents, the weak, the sick and the addicted, they're very vulnerable. A strong family makes children safe. We appreciate your efforts for the family. Corruption is a very big problem in the slums. People have to pay extra for all services. When they cannot pay fines and bribes, they're put in prison. Another very big problem we have is the grabbing of land. The land of schools, clinics, is taken by very powerful people. The land is taken in two ways. Some of the land is grabbed, like playgrounds, and other land is grabbed in a very cunning manner. People dump soil into the river, move the river over on top of your school, so the school is flooded. As I stand here in Lunga Lunga, our school is flooded. So children are out of school, and hundreds of houses are flooded because some greedy people have piled soil up and flooded the land. Here I pay tribute to the individuals, clergy, lay and religious, and the schools and the charities, some of whom are here today, who do work with slum dwellers and to have sustained development work in slums. The church is present in slums, but too small. We need that presence to be more. Deep there in the slums, we need to have the presence of the church, the charities and the services. Sometimes the challenges in slums almost cause us to despair, and some people give up working in slums. Your visit gives us courage. By your coming here, you shine a light on the challenges. Your meeting with us gives us dignity. You included us where normally we are left out. Thank you. We thank you for that. We pray for you, and we wish you every blessing in your sacred mission. Thank you.
Another clap for Sister Mary for good information. Thank you. Now we all stand as His Holiness now is ready to share with us. Let's all stand as he begins to give us a speech, a sign of respect. He will give us a permission to sit down. He will give us.
Sit down, please. Thank you very much for your hospitality. Gracias por recibirme en su barrio. Gracias al Señor Arzobispo Kibuba y al Padre Pascal por sus palabras. En verdad me siento como en casa, compartiendo este momento con hermanos y hermanas que, no me avergüenza decirlo, tienen un lugar preferencial en mi vida y en mis opciones. Estoy aquí porque quiero que sepan que sus alegrías y esperanzas, sus angustias y tristezas no me son indiferentes. Sé de las dificultades que atraviesan día a día. ¿Cómo no denunciar las injusticias que sufren?
Thank you for welcoming me to your neighborhood. I thank Archbishop Kibuva and Father Pascal and all who have spoken for their kind words. I feel very much at home sharing these moments with my brothers and sisters who, and I'm not ashamed to say this, have a special place in my life and my decisions. I am here because I want you to know that your joys and hopes, your troubles and your sorrows are not indifferent to me. I realize the difficulties which you experience daily. How can I not denounce the injustices which you suffer?
Pero ante todo quisiera detenerme en una realidad que los discursos excluyentes no logran reconocer o parecen desconocer. Me quiero referir a la sabiduría de los barrios populares. Una sabiduría que brota de la empecinada resistencia de lo auténtico, de valores evangélicos que la sociedad opulenta, adormecida por el consumo desenfrenado, pareciera haber olvidado. Ustedes son capaces de tejer lazos de pertenencia y de convivencia que convierten el hacinamiento en una experiencia comunitaria donde se rompen las paredes del yo y se superan las barreras del egoísmo.
First of all, though, I would like to speak about something which the language of exclusion often disregards or seems to ignore. It is the wisdom found in poor neighborhoods. A wisdom which is born of the stubborn resistance of that which is authentic, from gospel values which an opulent society, anesthetized by unbridled consumption, would seem to have forgotten. You are able to weave bonds of belonging and togetherness which convert overcrowding into an experience of community, in which the walls of the ego are torn down and the barriers of selfishness overcome.
La cultura de los barrios populares, impregnada con esa sabiduría particular, tiene características muy positivas que son un aporte para el tiempo que nos toca vivir. Se expresa en valores como la solidaridad, dar la vida por otro, preferir el nacimiento a la muerte, dar un entierro cristiano a sus muertos, ofrecer un lugar para el enfermo en la propia casa, compartir el pan con el hambriento. Donde comen 10, comen 12, dicen. La paciencia y la fortaleza frente a las grandes adversidades. Valores que se sustentan en cada ser humano, más importante que el Dios dinero. Gracias por recordarnos que hay otro tipo de cultura posible.
The culture of poor neighborhoods, steeped in this particular wisdom, has very positive traits which can offer something to these times in which we live. It is expressed in values such as solidarity, giving one's life for others, preferring birth to death, providing Christian burial to one's dead, finding a place for the sick in one's home, sharing bread with the hungry, for there is always room for one more seat at the table, showing patience and strength when faced with great adversity, and so forth. Values grounded in the fact each human being is more important than the god of money. Thank you for reminding us that another type of culture is possible.
Quisiera reivindicar en primer lugar estos valores que ustedes practican, valores que no cotizan en bolsa, valores con los que no se especula ni tienen precio de mercado. Los felicito, los acompaño y quiero que sepan que el Señor nunca se olvida de ustedes. El camino de Jesús comenzó en las periferias. Va desde los pobres y con los pobres hacia todos. Reconocer estas manifestaciones de vida buena que crecen cotidianamente entre ustedes no implica de ninguna manera desconocer la atroz injusticia de la marginación urbana. Son las heridas provocadas por minorías que concentran el poder, la riqueza y derrochan con egoísmo, mientras crecientes mayorías deben refugiarse en periferias abandonadas, contaminadas, descartadas.
I want, in first place, to uphold these values which you practice, values which are not quoted in the stock exchange and are not subject to speculation and have no market price. I congratulate you, I accompany you, and I want you to know that the Lord never forgets you. The path of Jesus began on the peripheries. It goes from the poor and with the poor towards others. To see these signs of good living that increase daily in your midst in no way entails a disregard for the dreadful injustice of urban exclusion. These are wounds inflicted by minorities who cling to power and wealth, who selfishly squander, while a growing majority is forced to flee to abandoned, filthy and run-down peripheries.
Esto se agrava cuando vemos la injusta distribución del suelo. Tal vez no en este barrio, pero sí en otros, que lleva en muchos casos a familias enteras a pagar alquileres abusivos por viviendas en condiciones edilicias nada adecuadas. También sé del grave problema del acaparamiento de tierras por parte de desarrolladores privados sin rostro, que hasta pretenden apropiarse del patio de las escuelas de sus hijos. Esto sucede porque se olvida que Dios ha dado la tierra a todo el género humano para que ella sustente a todos sus habitantes sin excluir a nadie ni privilegiar a ninguno.
This becomes even worse when we see the unjust distribution of land, if not in this neighborhood, certainly in others, which leads in many cases to entire families having to pay excessive and unfair rents for utterly unfit housing. I am also aware of the serious problem posed by faceless private developers who hoard areas of land and even attempt to appropriate the playgrounds of your children's schools. This is what happens when we forget that God gave the earth to the whole human race for the sustenance of all its members without excluding or favoring anyone.
Y en ese sentido es un grave problema la falta de acceso a infraestructuras y servicios básicos. Me refiero a baños, alcantarillado, desagües, recolección de residuos, luz, caminos, pero también a escuelas, hospitales, centros recreativos y deportivos, talleres artísticos. Quiero referirme en particular al agua potable. El acceso al agua potable y segura es un derecho humano básico, fundamental y universal, porque determina la sobrevivencia de la persona y por lo tanto es condición para el ejercicio de los demás derechos humanos. Este mundo tiene una grave deuda social con los pobres que no tienen acceso al agua potable, porque eso es negarles el derecho a la vida radicado en su dignidad inalienable. Negarle el agua a una familia bajo cualquier pretexto burocrático es una gran injusticia, sobre todo cuando se lucra con esta necesidad.
One very serious problem in this regard is the lack of access to infrastructures and basic services. By this I mean toilets, sewers, drains, refuse collection, electricity, roads, as well as schools, hospitals, recreational and sports centres, studios and workshops for artists and craftsmen. I refer in particular to access to drinking water. Access to safe drinkable water is a basic and universal human right, since it is essential to human survival and as such is a condition for the exercise of other human rights. Our world has a grave social debt towards the poor who lack access to drinking water because they are denied the right to a life consistent with their inalienable dignity. To deny a family water under any bureaucratic pretext whatsoever is a great injustice, especially when one profits from this need.
Este contexto de indiferencia y hostilidad que sufren los barrios populares se agrava cuando la violencia se generaliza y las organizaciones criminales, al servicio de intereses económicos o políticos, utilizan a niños y jóvenes como carne de cañón para sus negocios ensangrentados. También conozco los padecimientos de las mujeres que luchan heroicamente para proteger a sus hijos e hijas de estos peligros. Pido a Dios que las autoridades asuman junto a ustedes el camino de la inclusión social, el camino de la educación, del deporte, la acción comunitaria y la protección de las familias, porque es esta la única garantía de una paz justa, verdadera y duradera.
This situation of indifference and hostility experienced by poor neighborhoods is aggravated when violence spreads and criminal organizations serving economic or political interests use children and young people as cannon fodder for their ruthless business affairs. I also appreciate the struggles of those women who fight heroically to protect their sons and daughters from these dangers. I ask God that the authorities may embark, together with you, upon the path of social inclusion, education, sport, community action, and the protection of families, for this is the only guarantee of a peace that is just, authentic, and enduring.
Estas realidades que he enumerado no son una combinación casual de problemas aislados. Incluso son una consecuencia de nuevas formas de colonialismo que pretende que los países africanos sean piezas de un mecanismo y de un engranaje gigantesco. No faltan, de hecho, presiones para que se adopten políticas de descarte, como por ejemplo la reducción de la natalidad, que pretenden legitimar el modelo distributivo actual, donde una minoría se cree con el derecho de consumir en una proporción que sería imposible generalizar.
These realities which I have just mentioned are not a random combination of unrelated problems. They are a consequence of new forms of colonialism which would make African countries parts of a machine, cogs on a gigantic wheel. Indeed, countries are frequently pressured to adopt policies typical of the culture of waste, like those aimed at lowering the birth rate, which seek to legitimize the present model of distribution, where a minority believes that it has the right to consume in a way which can never be universalized.
Y en este sentido, propongo retomar la idea de una respetuosa integración urbana, ni erradicación, ni paternalismo, ni indiferencia, ni mera contención. Necesitamos ciudades integradas y para todos. Necesitamos superar la mera proclamación de derechos que en la práctica no se respetan, concretar acciones sistemáticas que mejoren el hábitat popular y planificar nuevas urbanizaciones de calidad para albergar a las futuras generaciones. La deuda social, la deuda ambiental con los pobres de las ciudades se paga haciendo efectivo el derecho sagrado de las 3 T: tierra, techo y trabajo. Esto no es filantropía, es una obligación moral de todos.
In this regard, I would propose a renewed attention to the idea of a respectful urban integration as opposed to elimination, paternalism, indifference, or mere containment. We need integrated cities which belong to everyone. We need to go beyond the mere proclamation of rights which are not respected in practice to implementing concrete and systematic initiatives capable of improving the overall living situation and planning new urban developments of good quality for housing future generations. The social and environmental debt owed to the poor of cities can be paid by respecting their sacred right to the 3 L's: land, lodging, labor. This is not a question of philanthropy, rather it is a duty incumbent upon all of us.
Quiero llamar a todos los cristianos, en particular a los pastores, a renovar el impulso misionero, a tomar la iniciativa frente a tantas injusticias, a involucrarse con los problemas de los vecinos, a acompañarlos en sus luchas, a cuidar los frutos de su trabajo comunitario y celebrar juntos cada pequeña o gran victoria. Sé que hacen mucho, pero les pido que recuerden que no es una tarea más, sino tal vez la más importante, porque los pobres son los destinatarios privilegiados del Evangelio.
I wish to call all Christians and their pastors in particular to renew their missionary zeal, to take initiative in the face of so many situations of injustice, to be involved in their neighbors' problems, to accompany them in their struggles, to protect the fruits of their communitarian labor, and to celebrate together each victory, large or small. I realize that you are already doing much, but I ask you to remember this is not just another task. It may instead be the most important task of all, because the gospel is addressed in a special way to the poor.
Queridos vecinos, queridos hermanos, recemos, trabajemos y comprometámonos juntos para que toda familia tenga un techo digno, tenga acceso al agua potable, tenga un baño, tenga energía segura para iluminarse, cocinar, para que puedan mejorar sus viviendas, para que todo el barrio tenga caminos, plazas, escuelas, hospitales, espacios deportivos, recreativos y artísticos, para que los servicios básicos lleguen a cada uno de ustedes, para que se escuchen sus reclamos y su clamor de oportunidades, para que todos puedan gozar de la paz y seguridad que se merecen conforme a su infinita dignidad humana.
Dear neighbors, dear brothers, dear sisters, let us together pray, work and commit ourselves to ensuring that every family has dignified housing, access to drinking water, a toilet, reliable sources of energy for lighting, cooking and improving their homes, that every neighborhood has streets, squares, schools, hospitals, areas for sport, recreation and art, that basic services are provided to each of you, that your appeals and your pleas for greater opportunity can be heard, that all can enjoy the peace and security which they rightfully deserve on the basis of their infinite human dignity.
Mungu awabariki. Y por favor, les pido que recen por mí.
And above all, I ask you please, pray for me.